Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. I wanted to talk to you today about NEXUS letters. When do you need one? Why do you need it? And most importantly, are there times where you don't need it? Some people aren't quite exactly sure about the mysterious NEXUS letter. So wanted to dive into that a little bit, mostly just to get the information out, especially for those new to the VA kind of compensation claims process. So with that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I really appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. If you want to support even more, please consider being a member. You can hit that join button. That really helps to support the channel. It also helps me to find you quicker in the comments. The two asks that I have for you: one, hit that thumbs up. Two, let the video run, because it will help put this information into the hands of those that need it. Trust me, YouTube does not automatically just push this out to every veteran, right? It takes a little bit of time, and it takes all of us working together. Many hands make light work. So let's jump into it here. So NEXUS is a link. It's talking about the link between your condition and your time in service. Now, that link is actually way broader than many people think. So many people think that the NEXUS, the link between your condition and your time in service, has to be something to the effect of, let me prove that the military caused my condition. That is not what the VA is looking for. Does it count? Sure, it falls in the bucket, right? But it's just one piece of the NEXUS pie. And if you're only focused on that one piece, well, you're forgetting about all these other pieces, right? So you could be shortchanging yourself. So that's the important piece up front. So I think when I explain things, I kind of like to make sure that it's front-loaded with some information on how we get there. So there's three things in my mind to create a successful claim. Now, you want to be successful when you file your claim. Otherwise, what's the point, right? So to be successful, it takes three pillars. One is you have to have time in service, obviously. That creates a window of opportunity for you, right? Entry date, exit date. The second piece is you must have a diagnosed condition. You self-diagnosing typically won't go anywhere. You have to provide proof that you have a condition. Now, ideally, right, your condition is proven to have some sort of ongoing or residual type effect, some sort of an ongoing issue, right? I had a cold once, it went away, and I never had it again. You're not going to get compensated for that. So you need to show that it has some sort of an ongoing or chronic sort of nature, right? The third thing is the NEXUS, which is what we're talking about today. The NEXUS, the link between your condition and that time period of service. What the VA is looking for here is I like to break it down like this. The VA is looking for, show me that your condition, or prove to me, the VA, prove to me your condition manifested during your time in service or is a result of your time in service. That's what they're looking for. Now, when you look at it that way, it opens up a whole host of other options, such as, well, I come from a family history of migraine sufferers. Everybody in my family has migraines. They all started getting migraines at age 20, and guess what? I joined the military, and as soon as I turned 20, I started getting migraines too. Chances are you probably would have had migraines regardless if you joined the military. However, the VA doesn't really care. The VA cares that you signed up and you didn't have any issues because you were 17 or 18 years old signing paperwork to join, and you were fit as a fiddle, right? Everything was great, no problems, and you joined. And if that moment the VA goes, okay, based on your service to our government through your military service, we're going to make sure that we take care of you, and anything that goes wrong with you during your time in service, we got your back. That's how we're going to take care of you. Great. Sadly, this is never explained to anybody, so many people go years and years and years without ever knowing that this was really part of their benefits package. So time goes by, and now you're going to file your claim. Well, that NEXUS becomes very important. Okay, now there's different ways to establish a nexus, okay? A nexus and a nexus letter are two different things. The nexus is what we're looking for. That's the prove to me, the VA, that your condition manifested or is a result of your time in service, right? That's the nexus. A nexus letter is helping to provide that proof, the nexus, right? So let me talk about the nexus a little bit, and then we'll slide over to nexus letter. So nexus, ideally, the ideal way to prove a nexus, which is sadly, it's the ideal way, but it's probably the least likely way that we prove our nexus. So the ideal way is that, I have this condition, and I'm going, while I'm in service, right? So I'm in service, we'll use the migraines. So 2 years in on my 4-year or 6-year contract, and I start getting migraines, and the ideal situation would be, you know what? I'm going to get this documented and see if I can get something to help me out, or at least express it to my doctor or physical health assessment. Talk about it there or whatever. Getting diagnosed while you're in service is the absolute best, easiest way to prove your nexus. And it's just off of the dates, right? Here's my diagnosis, right? My medical records. Here's my diagnosis for migraines. And look at that. The date is 2 years into my time in service right here. So I am nexused. That diagnosis alone has the information showing that my diagnosis of that condition was during my time in service. Therefore, that is the nexus. I've proven my nexus, my link between my condition and my time in service. Now, sadly, that's probably the least likely way that stuff happens. Now, the next way would be, maybe you mentioned it somewhere. You didn't really get diagnosed, but you mentioned you had headaches or migraines. You checked a box that said that you've had migraines now, or you've suffered from migraines or whatever on a physical health assessment or something. And you have that piece of paper. That piece of paper and the date on there is during your time in service. Therefore, at least you have something that you can kind of hang a hat on, right? You're talking about it there. You're complaining of the symptoms. And now, later on, after you get out, you get that diagnosis. And then that diagnosis, coupled with the complaint or self-assessment that you've had migraines, help you to establish the nexus. And that's another way. And then the third way is, well, let's say that you're all the way out of service and it's been a few years, and now you go get diagnosed. Great. You get diagnosed, you have migraines. You tell the doctor, hey, I've been having them ever since I was in the military, 2 years in the military. And the doctor goes, okay. And then, they write you a prescription or whatever, and you move on. Well, you want to circle back with that doctor and let that doctor know that you would like for them to write you what they call a nexus letter, where the doctor essentially attests to understanding and knowing, obviously, that you have migraines, and maybe that they prescribed you this whatever medication, and that they determine that your condition is at least likely as not, that's the minimum threshold for the VA, that it is equal, it's a coin flip. It is at least likely as not that your condition is due to your military service or manifested during your military service, or whatever the correct words are. Now, that nexus letter will have some rationale in there and what have you. And now you have this letter that's going to help you establish the nexus. In my opinion, when we try to establish a nexus by getting outside letters and stuff, the more the merrier, right? Write a letter yourself. Explain the situation. I didn't go to sick call. I was scared. Everybody who went would have to stay back, clean toilets, field day, whatever. So I chose to suck it up, like many other people. And instead, I just got handfuls of Motrin and aspirin from my medic or my corpsman. And then I would go to the grocery store and I would buy Motrin and aspirin, and I would just do that while I was in. Then if you know anybody, they could also write you buddy statements is what they're called. Just letters from people that served with you to, I remember he had migraines all the time. He was laying in his bed crying, right? Whatever it was. So they write you the letter attesting to understanding and knowing your conditions. Then if you had a spouse, a significant other, have them write a letter for you. Yes, ever since, we were in, had issues. And all of those things combined help to establish the nexus. So, nexus letter helps you to establish the nexus. Very important. Without a nexus, you go nowhere. So I hope that helps. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.